Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're tackling a big one. Why so many of us are getting sick. We're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden epidemic that actually connects many of our most common and most feared chronic diseases.
So let's just jump right in with a puzzle. You look at things like Alzheimer's, heart disease, even certain kinds of infertility, and on the surface, they seem like they have nothing to do with each other, right? But what if I told you they all share a secret, an underlying cause?
Well, that shared link, it points to a massive, and I mean massive, hidden health crisis. It's a problem that affects a huge number of people, and the crazy part is, most of them have no idea.
You know, metabolic scientist Dr. Benjamin Bikman has this great way of explaining it. He says we often treat these diseases like they're just different branches on a tree. So modern medicine comes along and prunes the branches, a pill for your blood pressure, another for your blood sugar, but we never get to the root of the problem. And when we talk about the scale of this, get this, it's pretty wild. An unbelievable 88% of adults in the United States have this root problem to some degree. That is nearly 9 out of every 10 people. And again, most don't even know it.
So what is this thing, this common problem at the core of it all? It has a name, insulin resistance. And it is at the very heart of so many of the health challenges we're facing today.
Okay, so what is that exactly? Put simply, insulin is a super important hormone. It's like a key, and its job is to unlock your cells to let glucose, that's blood sugar, inside so you can use it for energy. But with insulin resistance, that key starts to get rusty. It doesn't work so well anymore. The cells basically start to go deaf to insulin's signal.
This whole situation creates a two-part problem. On one side, you've got the cells that are resistant. They're not listening. On the other side, you've got your body, which isn't just going to give up. To overcome that deafness, it starts shouting. It pumps out more and more and more insulin, flooding your system to try and force the message through. Let's use an analogy to make this crystal clear. Imagine your cell is, say, a super exclusive nightclub. Insulin is the bouncer at the front door. His job is to give a little knock, open the velvet rope, and let the partygoers, the glucose, get inside.
Normally, everything runs smoothly. One polite knock from the bouncer, the door opens, glucose gets in, no problem. But when a cell becomes insulin resistant, it's like the music inside the club is cranked way too loud. The cell literally can't hear the bouncer knocking anymore, so the glucose is just left stuck outside, waiting in line.
So what does the body do? It panics. If one bouncer's knock isn't working, it sends an angry mob. Your pancreas starts pumping out a flood of insulin, a whole crowd of bouncers, to just pound and pound on that door until the cell finally angrily cracks it open. And this constant state of emergency is where the real trouble begins.
Okay, so how does this whole mess actually make us sick? This process is what Dr. Bikman calls the slow lane to chronic disease. And you might be surprised to hear this, but it all starts in our fat cells.
This quote right here is just mind-blowing proof of how powerful insulin is. Think about it. Someone with type 1 diabetes doesn't make their own insulin. If they don't inject it, they can eat thousands and thousands of calories, but their fat cells can't store any of it. Why? Because there's no insulin to give the command. It's the ultimate proof that insulin, not just calories, is the master conductor of fat storage.
So here's how the dominoes fall. First, that constant flood of high insulin is always telling your fat cells to grow, and they obey. But they can only get so big. Eventually, they're like a water balloon that's about to pop. So, to protect themselves, to survive, the fat cells do the only thing they can. They become insulin resistant to refuse any more orders to grow. This, in turn, kicks off a huge inflammatory chain reaction, spreading resistance to your liver, your muscles, and even your brain. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds pretty bleak, right? But here's the good news, the really good news. This is not a life sentence. There's a clear, straightforward strategy to fight back and take back control of your health.
The game plan to reverse this is built on 4 pillars, and they all have one simple goal: lower your insulin. First, control your carbs, because they spike insulin the most. Second, prioritize protein. It's essential for your body and barely moves the insulin needle. Third, don't be afraid of fat, because natural healthy fats have almost zero effect on insulin. And finally, try to fast frequently. It gives your body a much-needed break from producing insulin all the time, letting those levels come back down.
And if you're wondering why controlling carbs is pillar number 1,
Well, just look at this. A staggering 70% of all calories eaten across the entire globe are from carbohydrates. Since carbs are what drive insulin up, it's really no surprise we have an epidemic on our hands.
And that really brings us to the most important, most empowering takeaway here. The power to fight this hidden epidemic. It's probably not in a new prescription bottle. It's right there on your plate. By taking control of what you eat, you can directly lower your insulin and give your body the chance to heal itself.
So we want to leave you with this final thought. If our modern diet is at the very root of this problem, could it also be the cure? You see, understanding the science of insulin isn't just some interesting factoid. It's power. It gives you the knowledge to start making changes that can have a profound impact on your health for the rest of your life.